Yeah, no shit, this guy's a shill, brother. What are you talking about? He literally said he's voted for Republicans in the past. Ain't nobody's putting themselves out there to be like, I'm pro-Trump and go to a Trump rally, dude. Are you kidding me? It's just like paperwork to stop ballots from being processed and yada, yada, yada. We'll see what happens.
Who was also in Milwaukee last night and heads to North Carolina today. It's the fourth day in a row that both candidates are in the same state. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is live in Gastonia, North Carolina. Good morning, Mary Alice.
Yeah, Gio, good morning. Former President Trump was in the same arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where Republicans held their national convention. He talked about immigration and the economy. He said that he was the only candidate who could rescue the economy from, quote, total obliteration. And he was introduced by one of his supporters, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. With just 3 days to go, Donald Trump back in the very same arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where he accepted his party's nomination this summer, now trying to finish his campaign strong.
Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Trump pulling the crowd about whether he should say he will win.
It sounds a little braggadocio, right?
The former president repeating claims that migrants are taking jobs from Black Americans.
They have taken so many jobs away from African Americans, less from Hispanic, but that's going to catch up.
And leaning into the disappointing jobs report out Friday that showed unemployment steady at a low 4.1%, but employers only adding 12,000 jobs last month.
The economy stinks. What timing? What timing? 4 days before the election, they have among the worst numbers.
The report came amid hurricanes and a new Boeing strike. It showed wages continuing to climb, and the stock market did end the week higher. But Trump predicted economic doom.
Do you want to lose your job and maybe your house and pension because Kamala has the economic understanding of a child?
Trump joined on stage in Wisconsin and earlier in the day in Michigan by former independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who dropped out of the race and endorsed him, but whose name will still be on the Michigan ballot.
If you want to see me go to Washington, you better vote for Donald Trump.
Kennedy, a well-known vaccine skeptic, says he's been promised a prominent role in any future Trump administration, running healthcare agencies. Trump seeming to confirm as much.
And he's going to take care of women's health and men's health and your children's health.
And asked if he agrees with Kennedy about vaccines.
You're comfortable with his views on vaccines, Mr. President?
We'll be talking about a lot of things, but he's going to have a big role in healthcare, a very big role.
Vice President Kamala Harris today calling out Trump over possibly putting Kennedy in charge of America's healthcare system.
He has indicated that the person who would be in charge of healthcare for the American people is someone who has routinely promoted junk science and crazy conspiracy theories, who once expressed support for a national abortion ban.
Now, former President Trump heads here to North Carolina today. It's the one battleground state that he won 4 years ago, but he's taking nothing for granted. He has 3 events scheduled this weekend alone here. Democrats say it could be a sign he's nervous about the state. Janae?
All right. We will see what happens in the next few days. Mary Alice, thank you.
Time to prioritize our nation's best interests and foster lasting peace for all. This current administration has failed miserably in all aspects of humanity. We look to a Trump presidency with hope, envisioning a time where peace flourishes, particularly in Lebanon and Palestine, maintaining the integrity of our borders.
Donald Trump meeting with Arab American voters in Dearborn, Michigan, who are now throwing their support behind him.
This comes as the candidates remain neck and neck in that all-important battleground state.
You just heard from our next guest.
Why don't they say RFK Jr. is anti-Semitic despite the fact that he said that COVID was a conspiracy created by Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese? Because he's unimaginably pro-Israel. There is your fucking answer. The media, well, not the media, but like a lot of people who are in right-wing circles especially, would consider me to be anti-Semitic before RFK Jr. I'm not anti-Semitic. I am, however, anti-Israel. Therefore, I'm the biggest anti-Semite. RFK Jr., anti-Semitic, pro-Israel, not an anti-Semite. It's that simple.
Yes, Michigan resident Albert Abbas, and he joins us now. Albert, it's so great to have you on. I was just telling my co-host here, I'm obsessed with this story. Donald Trump's going to end with a rally in Michigan. I think that Arab Americans might be the swing demo inside of Michigan that could put it in Trump's corner. Explain to us why Donald Trump is appealing to, why Arab Americans are attracted to Donald Trump at this moment.
Arab Americans are flowing in the direction of the Trump campaign because of his
literally
words of tolerance and love and ending wars. I mean, all our families are suffering overseas in Gaza and in Lebanon, and we have to stop the indiscriminate bombings that are happening and allow justice for everyone and allow everyone to live with dignity. And diplomacy is the way for peace. We can't expect that dropping bombs is going to create peace. We have to, open the gates so that we can have conversations, with people that we agree with and people that we don't agree with, and that's the most important thing. And he's extended an olive branch to the Arab community. He's made it a priority to come here, and he's said some very powerful words to gain that support. And now we're going to be looking for some actions and to hold everyone accountable. But we do believe that Donald Trump is our best option and a good option, if that.
Albert, I'm curious what this shift represents. So I'm going to ask you two questions. Is this going to be the first time then that you have voted for a Republican? Have you been a supporter of Democrats in the past? And that's one question real quick, Albert. And then the other is, in your estimation, in your community, are there a lot of people who are following your lead and now going over to Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a seismic shift in favor of Donald Trump here in Dearborn and across Michigan in general. And I do believe Michigan is going to be the deciding factor in this election, and people are starting to wake up. It is not my first time voting for a Republican, and it's not, probably my last time voting for a Democrat. If they continue to, go on this path. As Dearborn voters, we want to be heard. So the person that wants to listen to us and wants to reciprocate, the love and tolerance, then we are going to shift towards that candidate. And today that candidate is Donald Trump. He's made some great gains over here in Michigan. Actually, I actually have a picture right here of my.
In terms of this guy and the Muslim or Arab votes swinging in this direction to be consequential enough for Kamala Harris to lose Michigan, they are, like, the Democratic Party has actively written out. One, the Democratic Party has considered the Israel-Palestine issue to be like an Arab one, a sectarian one, an ethnic one, a religious one. This is not the case. Like, broad majorities of every party, including the Republican Party, want a ceasefire in Gaza. They want an end to the weapons transfers. It's not just the Arab thing. Now, in terms of like this being a single issue thing that could swing someone's opinion, I still don't think it's just the Arab thing. But besides that, the Democratic Party has openly pushed aside Arab voters, Muslim voters, Christian Arabs, Lebanese voters, and the like. They've openly communicated that they don't want them to be a part of the active coalition. The issue is, or at least like what this guy is saying, the reason why it doesn't really matter is that Michigan is so fucking blue overall and has a long track record of being blue overall, despite the fact that in 2016, Hillary Clinton lost. Michigan has relapsed in a, dare I say, blue wave. And part of the gains that they've made in Michigan, in terms of like the blue waves, comes from the suburbs. And I think they've picked up a lot of white suburbs people on top of like the white working class in general. Big inroads with the UAW that they are making up in their minds. They are certainly making up for all of the Arab or Muslim or Lebanese votes that they might lose for this single issue. That's it. That's why you're seeing polls reflect a different reality than what this guy is claiming. Yeah. The narrative that Muslim Americans are defecting to Trump is largely a canard, pandering to dumb horseshoe theory stuff, when the risk has always been third party / non-voting, inevitable since the Harris campaign has made clear they don't want them anywhere near their coalition. Yeah. Here's the last CARE national poll among Muslim voters showing 10 points for Trump, 41 for Harris, 42 for Stein. Any idea why this poll is so different from this one? This guy's showing Arab voters with Muslim voters. I know that there's still a large overlap, so it's quite weird that that the support for Trump is so different between the polls. Anyway,
father with Ronald Reagan. I don't know if you can see it, but this was back in the 80s when he had good relationships with Ronald Reagan and the Speaker of the House of Lebanon, and he helped bring back the American hostages at the time. And now our goal is to make sure that, we end the wars everywhere. And we're asking Donald Trump not only to, demand an end to the war, but to demand it the day that he steps in office. No more killing, no more bombing, just peace around the world and love and tolerance.
Albert, just one quick question. Massad Boulos, who is Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, he is a Lebanese, of Lebanese descent. How much, I've heard that he was, for the last year, working the Dearborn area, working Michigan. How much has that been of an impact on the community and their vote, or their leaning towards Donald Trump?
It definitely doesn't hurt to have such an outstanding gentleman in Mr. Trump's family. It gives us a vote of confidence that, our voices will be heard. It's good that, his family has the diversity that the Democrats always speak of, but they don't really tolerate when we want to speak out. Mr. Boulos has been an outstanding person, has supported us, has, provided us with the lines of communication within the Republican Party, and has allowed us access to develop these relationships and build these bridges with the Republican Party, who has quite frankly been absent from, Dearborn and Michigan in general.
Yeah, no shit, this guy's a shill, brother. What are you talking about? He literally said he's voted for Republicans in the past. Ain't nobody's putting themselves out there to be like, I'm pro-Trump, and go to a Trump rally, dude. Are you kidding me? They could hate Kamala Harris. They could want to make a deal with the devil. It doesn't matter. There's a difference between someone who is like very angry and saying that they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris versus someone who's like, I'm voting for Donald Trump because I think that he's going to deliver peace in the Middle East. Yeah, come on. Like, he's on Fox News, dude. What are you talking about? Like, what? Are we stupid? I mean, yes, the answer is yes. I always ask that question. The answer is always yes. It's like the Republican Party's war on terror has now been completely reframed into the Democratic Party's war on terror, which is crazy because the Democrats let that happen. Like, they did it. They championed it. They're so fucking stupid for this. I'll take this with a huge grain of salt, but this is probably the type of story that's helping the Trump campaign. Yeah. No, this isn't. Guys, I talk to people in Gaza, okay? And even some of the people that I talk to in Gaza are like, well, neither party really matters, but we were getting killed less when Donald Trump was president, okay? People have a very different analysis in this situation. That doesn't mean that they're correct. They obviously are not. They're wrong. But what am I going to do? Fucking dunk on a dude that is experiencing genocide? I'm just trying to explain to you how some people calculate this, or how some people make this calculation. The point is, Donald Trump is most likely going to be even worse than like the worst possible thing you could do, which is genocide. But right now, it's the Democrats that are doing it. So people are so lost and so desperate that some of them are like, yeah, maybe this is the right move. Who knows? I'll take a fucking swing at it. A sound party would have never allowed this to happen. A reasonable party would never allow this to happen. The Democrats are unreasonable and they have let it happen. It's so stupid. I don't think that like this is going to be as impactful. I don't think that people care enough about Gaza to, like, people do care about Gaza, but they don't care enough about Gaza to vote in whichever direction, as I have stated before. So that's the situation. It's just uniparty on that front, and people make their assessment beyond that. Whether they are pro-Palestine or not, they're just like, there's not really much you can do in this situation. Someone needs to clip this when liberals try to blame you if Trump wins, even though you've said this a million times. I mean, people are going to do that regardless, brother. What do you mean? Like, people are fucking stupid. Dude, people are calling me fucking the MAGA of the left. Okay, give me a goddamn break.
For our people so that our voices can be heard. The only thing that we're asking as a population is for us to be respected and heard. Don't take our votes for granted. And, hopefully you on this ride for peace and prosperity.
Well, we heard you this morning on Fox and Friends. Thanks for being with us, Albert.
Thank you very much. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our...
President, you've had quite a lot of interruptions during your speeches recently, a lot of pro-Gaza protesters. And, you certainly have spoken about democracy and responding to them. But do you think that you need to say a little bit more about the Mideast conflict or about what you would do to try to satisfy them? And are you concerned at all about how you'll do in college towns and in Michigan in particular with them? President Trump today is going to Dearborn, is going to a Palestinian restaurant. This is the second kind of Arab American restaurant he's gone to. He seems to be really trying to make a play for a group that would traditionally be pretty democratic. Do you think you've done enough to reach these voters?
Well, I'm very proud to have a significant amount of support from the Arab American community, both because of my position about what we need to do in Gaza and in the region to end the war and bring the hostages home, and my commitment to a two-state solution, but also because within that community there are many issues that challenge folks and that they want to hear about, including what we're going to do to make housing affordable, what we're going to do to bring down the cost of groceries, what we're going to do to invest in small businesses. I have a plan for all of those things, and
I don't agree with that. I think for the most part, it's not the same for Jewish voters. I've brought it up time and time again. For American Jewish voters who vote 75% around that margin for the Democratic Party, Israel is not top of mind in terms of like what's going on. Anti-Semitism in America might be, but like Israel is not the first priority. It's the 9th priority out of 10. On the other hand, for a lot of like Arabs, their friends, people in those neighborhoods, people in those communities, Christians, Lebanese people, like people from the Levant living in the United States of America, this is something that they care about. And the reason why they care about it is because their fucking families are being slaughtered. You know what I mean? Like, of course, it's understandable that this is like going to be a prescient, this is going to be a very significant matter that they care about. So this is the one spot she's really lacking in. No, I think she's lacking in a bunch of different spots, but this is the one that is the worst. Like, yeah, but this chatter is correct. Miss M. Poops is correct. You're going to let someone going to a Palestinian restaurant be the move that outflanks you on this issue. Like, that's crazy. Optically speaking, dropping the ball this much on this is insane. But yeah, this is not the only issue where she has problems. There are plenty of other issues where she has major problems, both in her middle road, lackluster policy, but also, tacking right, championing Liz Cheney, defending Liz Cheney, all this shit. Like, it's just bad. And we'll see what happens. But like, I still do think that Donald Trump and the way that Donald Trump presents himself, reminding people of what a grave threat he represents to like the current order of business, and not in a positive way, like not in a positive shakeup style situation, is going to carry her across the finish line, I think, albeit a marginal victory, when this should be a fucking wipeout for Kamala Harris.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass. But I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Both of the old white men are going for the biromantic ticket. Yeah. Can Stacey Abrams still deliver Georgia? She's like the least popular politician in the state. She's not delivering anything for anyone. It's so funny. The Stacey Abrams like PR team, I need to hire them. I don't know how the fuck people just like look at what she has done so far and still constantly hype her up. I need her PR team so that people will stop yelling at me, because ain't nobody has done this shittily overall in elections and then still maintained like such positive media coverage. It's pretty crazy.
That is something that resonates within that community and with all Americans.
They want to show the administration that what they did, that the policy and the support for Israel is wrong, and are going to make a statement, and that they don't care if it makes Trump the president. What would you tell them?
So there's a real contrast in this race when you look at who stands for democracy and democratic principles and who does not. Donald Trump is talking about an enemies list. He is talking about using the American military to turn on American citizens. He talks in a way that suggests that there should be retribution and severe consequences just because people disagree with him. My point is very clear. I believe in our democracy. Democracies are complicated in a wonderful way because we like debate. We accept and receive differences of opinion, and we work them out. One of the reasons I am going to have a Republican in my cabinet is because I want different views. I enjoy and benefit from diverse views from different perspectives that allow me then to make the best decisions I can make. That's a big difference between me and Donald Trump. And that's the big difference between someone who truly is a leader and someone who is in it for themselves and wants unchecked power. Okay, thank you all.